What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is your retro review for the Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 3, episode 3. So, child, Kathy is upset about what had happened down to the posh fashion show. She's talking to her husband, explaining to him what happened, and she was like, I was just trying to have a rational conversation with Teresa, but once again, she shot me down. And even worse, I feel like I made a bad first impression on Caroline. Like, Caroline doesn't know me, but I feel like she now maybe feels like maybe I'm messy or something, or I'm a troublemaker, and I just don't want her to have that impression of me, right? And so the husband was like, I get it, I understand, but I know your intentions were pure. Why don't you go talk to her? And she was like, yeah, I guess I can do that. And baby, let me tell you something. The more and more I watch this show, the more and more I love me some Caroline. I just started following her on Instagram and everything. I just started stalking her on Instagram. Well, I don't want to say that because people might take that seriously. I'm not stalking that woman. But I have started following her on Instagram. I even left I left a message or two under her pictures. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have started watching the show and I love you. Okay. Girl, she went to go visit Caroline, and she bought her flowers and everything. And Caroline was like, okay, hey girl, what's up? And she got to talking about, I feel like I made a bad impression. I want to go and, I just wanted to have a conversation with Teresa. And I know that you felt upset or felt offended that maybe I chose to do it at the brownstone, but I just want you to know that I was just trying to bring peace, and I was just trying to bring peace. Baby, Carolyn sat on that couch. Carolyn was like, I really don't care about none of that. She said, I don't care. She was like, at the end of the day, the history with, like, this is a family thing, and I don't get in family business. She said, and the history here is so layered and so complicated that I don't want any parts of it, and I don't want it crossing over into my business. And the brownstone is my home, and that is my issue. She was like, at the end of the day, I don't care about none of that, right? But you're her family, and y'all should be trying to resolve that behind. Like, y'all don't need to be including nobody else in that drama. And baby, Kathy was so pissed because she was like, who is Carolyn to try to admonish me? Who is Carolyn to try to tell me what I need to do? And who is she think she is? I was like, ooh, you went from one extreme to the other, because you really was trying to kiss the ring until Carolyn told you she didn't care about you kissing the damn ring, okay? Then we get a work scene with Teresa. She's working on her second cookbook. It was funny, but almost sad funny, to see Teresa in this moment, because Teresa was trying so hard to be a boss, right? She came in there, they were fixing the food from her cookbook. They had like this chef in there making all the meals, and so they could plate it, and they could take these pictures for her new cookbook. And everything she tasted, she was like, oh my goodness, the meatballs, no, my meatballs are juicier than that. Oh wait a minute, this sauce, oh, it's a little too salty. No, I don't make my sauce like that. And like, she's trying to be like this boss, and and then she's trying to like use these big words that she keeps using wrong, and like, the people who are working there are like looking at each other. They're giving each other that look like, she's a fucking idiot. Like, that is the look that they were giving each other, like, she is an idiot. And I just felt bad for her, because I was like, you really thought you was just a boss in this moment. You really was trying to be a boss, right? Then we get over to Melissa's house, and once again, I just can't with them. Joe walks in the door, and he's all like, it just looks so staged. He walks in like, hey, family. And you got the baby in his high chair with a hat on his head. Who sits in the house with a hat on their head? Now, if he were old enough and he were crawling around, and I'd be like, oh my, he might have just got into something. He might have pulled the hat off the couch. But you had him staged, sitting in his high chair with a damn, and I mean like an outdoor like hat. Joe walks in and he's mad, right? He's not, he comes in, he's smiling at his kids, and then when Melissa comes over to give him a kiss, he's like, ugh. And she's like, what is wrong with you? And he was like, well, you know what's wrong. You know what's wrong. And she was like, are you still mad about that? Baby, this man got a whole attitude because she wouldn't have sex with him. A whole attitude. And he was like, I mean, that's your job. Like, that's your duty. You're my wife. You're supposed to. And she was like, I was tired. Like, I got in from the fashion show and I'm just tired. And he was like, yeah, but I mean, so what? You supposed to do that for me. Like, you got all this poison. It's been 3 days and you got all this poison running in my body. She was like, really? Poison? Yeah. When it backs up like that, it's poison. So then she was like, okay, can we stop having this conversation in front of the kids? He was like, they don't know what we're talking about. I was like, he is such a Neanderthal. He really, I mean, really, like, he mad for real. They had a whole conversation about it. Then we see her giving the kids a bath, and he's in the bathroom with them, watching her. To my son, yeah, you so sexy. So what's up? What's up? We going. Is tonight the night? Is tonight the night? Is it finally gonna be the night? Is it finally gonna be the night? Sir, if you don't go sit your ass down somewhere, she raising these 3 kids. She talking about she has a hot meal cooked for you every night. Like, again, I ain't looking down at the job of a housewife. Housewives do work. Like, I ain't about to sit here and play that game. This woman is raising 3 of your knuckleheads. She has a hot meal on the table waiting for you every night when you get home. And she out here hang out with her friends every once in a while. And you mad because she don't roll over and spread her legs? Boy, ooh, I was so mad. I said, Joe is a Neanderthal. But in the midst of all of this, she does give him the breakdown of what happened at the brownstone. And of course, it was all Teresa. She didn't do nothing wrong. She didn't have no attitude. She didn't act like nothing. It was all just Teresa. And I was just like, here we go with this. I told y'all I'm over to Teresa, Melissa already, and we only in season 3, and I got to get all the way to season. Let's see, last season was season 13. I started in season 10. I got 7 more seasons to go with this shit, and I'm over it already. I'm just telling you the truth. So, so then we see Caroline with the family, with the kids. Chris and Albie are moving in. It's a family affair because, everything they do is a family affair, right? And they're moving the family, they're moving them into their apartment. And I think Ashley is the other child. Ashley is Jacqueline's daughter. What's her name? Lauren? I feel like I'm making the name up. Anyway, the daughter. She, I think she's feeling some kind of way because a lot of attention goes to Chris and Albie, and the mom is all upset that Chris and Albie are moving there out. And she was like, I'm still here. Like, you still have me here. And she's talking about her and her boo thing, that eventually they're going to try to get a place, and, they want to move in together, whatever. Now, Jacqueline's parents are visiting, and we see Jacqueline having a conversation with her father while Ashley is on the phone with her biological dad, who has moved to Texas, and he's got other children and stuff like that. And the dad is talking to Jacqueline about Ashley. And he sort of gives me a different perspective because I know I've been hard on Ashley. I have been. And I still feel how I feel. But I do understand that Ashley, maybe there is some validity to her feeling maybe a little out of place. Like, Jacqueline got remarried and she has children, and then her father has other siblings, and she doesn't get to see her father regularly. And even though Chris treats her, he spoils her rotten, it's still not your dad, right? It's still not your biological dad. And so I can see where Ashley might be struggling a little bit. The way it comes out is not healthy. But I can concede that there may be some validity to the situation. Okay. Now, because Kathy was so upset over her meeting that it didn't go well with Carolyn, her husband bought her a car, child. I don't care. I ain't convinced that was a new car. I just feel like that was her car. They just put a bow on it and filmed this scene. Because I ain't convinced that man went out and bought her a brand new Mercedes just because she was upset. Talking about something, I'm so spoiled. He spoils me so much. Girl, you not fooling me. But anyway, moving on. So, Carolyn and Teresa and Jacqueline, they go shopping. Kim D takes them shopping in New York, to basically the place where she gets a lot of her pieces from. And so they're doing like this little shopping spree thing. And the whole day ends up being about Teresa and Joe, Teresa and Joe, Teresa and Joe. And baby, Carolyn is me, because Carolyn is over it already, okay? And I feel that's why she my spirit animal, okay? I love, and I'm sure she gonna do something that's gonna get on my nerves at some point. But right now, I love her, okay? Because she was sitting there like this while Teresa was talking about, you know, and the thing with Teresa is it's always everybody else's fault. She never does anything wrong. And my thing is this: do I think that Joe, um, Gorga is an ass? I do. I've said that. I think he's a Neanderthal, right? But do I also feel like Teresa is not innocent in all of this? I think both of them contributed to the demise of their relationship. And I do think Melissa had something to do with it, but I also think that Joe Giudice has something to do with it as well, right? I think there's enough to go around. And the problem is Teresa never wants to accept that she could have done anything different or that she had any problem. So Jacqueline says, listen, because the minute Teresa starts talking, she starts blaming Joe. And Jacqueline was like, see, listen to yourself. You're putting all of the blame on Joe, and that is going to automatically put somebody on the defense. Like if you saying you want to have a conversation with him, but that's going to automatically put him on the defense, because it seems like you're making it all about him instead of us and how do we fix it. So she said, maybe you should sit down and write a letter, and that way you know that it's coming out the way you want it to come out, and you're saying the things and you're saying it right. And I've had to do that before as well. And Jacqueline even told her, you might need to throw the first one out, because the first one is going to be the emotions. And once you've gotten it all out on paper, then you can sit down and really write the real letter. So Teresa ends up going over her house with her Gucci stationery child. Miss Bankruptcy, but got her Gucci stationery. Now, somebody might say, well, it was just stationery in a Gucci bag. Listen, Teresa Gorga did not put dollar store stationery in a Gucci bag. It was Gucci stationery in her Gucci bag. Okay, moving on. Jacqueline is trying to help this woman write this letter. And Teresa is doing the same thing. It is all about what Joe did, what Melissa did, what they did to her, and how they ruined everything. And she just wants the family back, and how they did this and they did that, and they. And Jacqueline is trying, like literally beating her head against the wall, trying to get Teresa to understand that. And then Teresa just finally tells her, you don't know. He's not your brother. You don't know. So at that point, if I were Jacqueline, I would have said, you know what, girl, you right. You can go, though. Like, if you don't need my help, you don't need my advice, then I don't know why you here. Baby, she stayed there all day writing that damn letter. And finally, she writes the letter. So they deliver the letter over to, first, Jacqueline told her not to take it herself. She said, I feel like you should probably mail it. She was like, I'm not mailing this letter. I'm not going to do that. So they drive over to Joe's house. They leave the letter there. Melissa and Joe conveniently weren't there. They were out jogging. And come back, read the letter. And Melissa, of course, is like, I mean, I think she's sincere. I think you should talk to her. I think you should have the conversation. I think you should. And Joe was like, I don't know. She did this. She broke our family. I don't know if I want to talk to her. I don't know. And that's pretty much where the episode is, child. So I guess they're going to have the big conversation. Probably the next episode, they're just going to talk about it a lot. I don't know. But at some point, they're going to, I guess, sit down and have this conversation. And we'll see. Anyway, that's what I got. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.